Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pro Wrestling World Talks with Dan and Mac.
On the cusp of the post-WrestleMania PLE, some call it Backlash, some call it Mehlash, I call it Trashlash. Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, everybody. Wherever you are listening to Pro Wrestling World Talks here on Spotify, YouTube, under Diamond Podcasting Productions. It also could be under Audacity, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts these days. I am your host, Daniel Burke, and I am joined by my co-host and best friend for over 20 years, Mac. Thanks for coming on the program again this week, my friend.
All good. Mehlash, Trashlash, yeah. That's how I feel about this entire show.
Yes, this is the definition of what we call a B show. Even though it's Randy Orton and John Cena again at a pay-per-view, I think this is them and The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, I think, are the only performers that have headlined a pay-per-view together in 3 different decades. The 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s for Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. And now Randy Orton and John Cena will be entering that category with the 2000s, the 2010s, and the 2020s of main eventing a pay-per-view together in a one-on-one match where John Cena, current WWE undisputed champion, the 17-time world champion, who will be defending it against Randy Orton, the 14-time world champion in his hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. That is the big main event this weekend. Of course, we'll be talking about that. We might be also mentioning the little tissy fight that Ricochet is having on social media right now. New Pope elected, first American ever.
We didn't talk about the releases last week either, since we had Cindy on.
Yes, we did not talk about the releases. Couple of surprising ones with Cora Jade, probably be one of the most surprising ones, at least out of that group. Shotzi as well. Braun Strowman, we've kind of gone back and forth on in recent weeks that in recent months that Braun might be winding things down.
I think his release was from what was reported anyway. It was more that they're kind of paying him a lot of money for what he's currently doing on television.
That has been the angle that's been going around. Of course, Gigi Dolan and Cora Jade both responded to those reports that were also reported, I believe, by Wrestling Observer, if I'm not mistaken. So Meltzer and Alvarez.
Yes, it was, actually.
So take that again with a grain of salt. But I feel like that is a real distinct possibility, even though I did find that Cora Jade complaining about her strength and conditioning coach body shaming her. Your strength and conditioning coach for a reason. I don't think they're body shaming you. I think they're,
Well, we don't. Well, hold on. We don't know.
Mm-hmm. No, we don't know. That's true. We don't know.
Because there are other things that women get body shamed for. And let's be real. She had work done.
She had them done. Yes.
Stephanie Stratton had work done. And a lot of other talent had work done.
But they also understand that, but you also have to understand when you're in this business and unfortunately, and I know that everybody's going to sit there and be like, well, wrestling's for everyone. That is true. It is. Like on the top on down. And there's some great talent that's been able to get themselves over and have high paying and real high tier positions with not having the perfect 10, so to speak, body. And
I think the best way to say that is this. You could say it for both male and female, but I would argue it's definitely a stigma more for women. It's a looks business.
It is.
You have to have a look. And if you don't have a look, it's hard to maintain yourself in said business. Are there talent that are able to get away with not, being let's make the argument a 9 or a 10? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, there are talent that are able to do that. But let's be real. It's few and far between.
I feel bad for Cora Jade and I feel bad for Gigi Dolan. Gigi especially, concerning the fact that I felt like they were just starting to get some traction with her, especially with that new that they just teamed her up with that Paxton. I can't remember her last name for the life of me, and I should, and I feel bad for myself. Tatum Paxton, correct. Okay. They had just started that tag team. They had just won at the at Stand and Deliver, that tag team like fatal 4-way they had, and they had won. So I felt like that there was a good direction for those two, and also trying to build up that tag team roster for women, which at this point they should just abandon, but considering the fact that they just also cut one of the other top tag teams they had in that division, the former women's tag team champions of not only the current generation of the tag team division for WWE women's, but also they were the NXT tag team champions, if I'm not mistaken, Kaden and Chance. So it's just like they so that it was really interesting, some of the decisions that were made. Some of them I understood, and then some of them I was just like, really? I thought you had high hopes for them. Like, especially Cora Jade, but I can also understand too with Cora where her injury history has been a little concerning. I don't know if she's gonna.
What really got me about Cora Jade especially is that you literally, in not so many ways or shapes or forms or letters or whatever, but you literally just called up Roxanne Perez and Julia.
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't, insert her in there and do like a women's shield or something like that. I don't know, man. Like, for some of this talent that they released, all I see is missed opportunities. And you can make the argument for some of them that's on them, but I'm sorry. The biggest surprise to me that we haven't talked about is Dakota Kai.
Yes.
That I think is the biggest surprise for me.
That is a very big surprise. I only didn't mention her. I mentioned Gigi and Cora to start only because of the fact that Gigi really isn't like an up and comer because she's been around for years. But Cora, I was just like, she's young, and you're pretty much betting the future on her. Which is funny is that Nikita Lyons wasn't cut. But Cora Jade was, which again, I felt like it was a little surprising because some people would say in our group chats that if you're going to cut Cora Jade, Nikita Lyons ass could go with her.
Apparently she was on the Evolve taping.
Apparently she was, which I guess they're sending her back, and she really doesn't have an issue with going back, even though there was which is fine with her. I mean, I'm sure she's thinking she probably has to get better in the ring or whatnot, but whatever. She's fine with it. So she went down to Evolve, which I think may have saved her from the cut. It may have in doing that.
Maybe.
But yes, Dakota Kai, I felt like was a real surprise that she was on the chopping block. And actually, this is her second time, I think. Her and Braun Strowman, because I think they were in the 2021 or 2022 cuts.
I think so.
And then they were hired back in the fall of 2022 after Triple H assumed power.
Yep.
Actually, Dakota Kai had returned at SummerSlam in 2022, if I'm not mistaken, when she fought Damage Plan. Thinking of a band from fucking 20 years ago.
Yep.
It was
Damage Control.
Damage Control with Bailey and Io Sky, and then of course they added members to the group. But Dakota Kai gone, and kind of surprising. I think though she'll probably get picked up at least on the other side. Even Mercedes was teasing some things this week with some of the sightings that there were. But again, I don't know if a lot of the women talent are going to want to go to AEW, because it was funny watching. Somebody had posted in one of the groups that I followed today the entire women's roster for AEW, and I think maybe 6 of them have been on TV in the last in consistency in the last month and a half to 2 months. Maybe 6 of them out of the whole roster. So you think, if you're Dakota Kai, if you're Cora Jade, if you're, Gigi Dolan, you wonder if you're going to go over to the other side and be able to get some headway, and also and get yourself over there, and also if you're going to be on TV consistently after your first 3 weeks.
So
I'm not trying. Sorry,
hold on a second. No, I. The only thing I would maybe say to that is if they could, they being Tony, if he could book them in a program with Mercedes Moné, with Anna Jay, who I think has just come back recently, Britt Baker, who I don't even think she's even there anymore. I don't even know, and other top AEW names. Timeless Tony, obviously, being another one. I think you could book some decent television in your women's division at that point, which I think he is severely lacking. Let's be real.
The women's division is a little hard to tell. I think they're trying to set up Jamie Hayter and Mercedes.
Yeah,
but then they're also trying to set up Mercedes and Tony Storm down the line. I look at Tony Storm right now in that company, and I've seen some of the booking that they've been doing, and they had her in like a 4-women eliminator match last night and the winner, but of course she won.
Of course.
And it's like, but I feel like she's just been spinning the wheels since Mariah May left, and they really haven't had a good direction with her. And the end of the Mariah May feud, some might say prematurely. That's been rumored because the perception within AEW is that Mariah May is headed to WWE, and she is going to be in the company by either the end of the summer or the beginning of the fall of 2025.
That is the rumor.
And Tony does not want to book talent that he knows is just going to go right over there. And that is actually, I don't disagree with that decision. The last thing you want to do is really have a guy on TV right before he splits.
Well, I mean, WWE, he got bit in the ass when he did it with Stephanie Vicaire.
He did. And I mean, WWE, though, she immediately went over to WWE and has just been with a rocket strapped to her ass, and they have made it to the point of where she's like got over 1 million followers on Instagram. She's not even on the main roster yet, and she's on the cusp. Once she gets to the main roster, she's probably going to be a huge megastar. Like you're probably going to be looking in the category of a Rhea Ripley, a Liv Morgan, especially too. It's probably going to be happening sooner rather than later, considering Jordynne Grace is now the number 1 contender for that title. But Jordan is also supposed to be going over to the main roster at some point. So again, it's just ridiculous that they have so much talent and depth in the women's division in WWE right now, and Becky Lynch is challenging for the Intercontinental Championship this weekend.
I guess that's the segue to start talking about some of these matches.
Oh, do we have to?
I know.
Yes, obviously we have an obligation, but also too, I've gotten some flack for this because when especially in the group chat, because when we were talking coming into WrestleMania season, he was just like, do you always have to be so negative? And I'm just like, look, you want me to be negative on AEW, and I have to be consistent. I have to come out here and I have to be like, all right, like, I don't like what AEW is doing, blah, 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 blah. I really don't like what WWE is doing. So I have to give them the same treatment, I feel like. And you look at this show, and it's currently 5 matches. Of course, that could change tomorrow, going into SmackDown tomorrow, because of course we record on Thursday nights usually.
So hold on. Let's say this. Where the fuck is Logan Paul and Jey Uso?
That is, I guess, being moved to Saturday night's main event at the end of the month.
Okay.
Because
they need to book something.
Need to book something.
Oh God.
5 matches currently right now, and 4 of them are involving everyday talent. One of them is an announcer.
Well, there are also 4 championship matches.
Correct.
And 1, commentator.
Correct. A commentator versus your former world heavyweight champion, which also there's a rumor going around that somebody's going to be making an appearance that's really probably going to piss us all off.
If they do that, I don't even know who you're talking
sense.
about. Hold on. I don't know who you're talking about right now till we get to that point. But I will say that I can make a general assumption and I'm going to hate it.
Yeah, of course. There are also rumors that Jeff Cobb will be making his debut for the company this weekend. He's now on the internal roster. I don't know where he's going to fit. He could be involved in the main event and be kind of the heavy for John Cena for a couple of months. He could be involved in the Gunther Pat McAfee match. He could be involved in the Fatal 4-Way. He could also be involved in the Intercontinental Championship match because he might be the heavy for Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah.
We don't know at this point.
That is true. Yeah.
These are all kind of things that, and I guess we could start. We will start with the Intercontinental Championship match. Dominic Mysterio versus Penta. Dominic Mysterio, everybody kind of said, can you believe that WrestleMania this year, Dominic Mysterio winning the Intercontinental Championship was not one of the things that I hated about WrestleMania. It was one of the things I liked about it. And now he's defending the title against Penta, which kind of is in a weird situation because, yes, Penta should win. But at the same time, it's like, I really don't want Dominic Mysterio to lose the title yet. So,
I have 2 major gripes with this. The first one is the way they added this is stupid. There's zero build to it. Every other match has a build, good or bad. It has a build. This was like, oh hey, Monday, just announced, and it's Dominic Mysterio versus Penta for the Intercontinental title. Like, what? Where'd that even come from? On top of that, I want to go back to WrestleMania just for a quick second, where we talked about Dom winning and stuff. But we looked at, using night 1, I believe, as the primary example, right? Where if the New Day won or lost, there should be a big moment with Big E. We didn't get any of that. And I'm afraid this might follow that. I'm afraid this might follow that. Because you mentioned Jeff Cobb, you mentioned, previous weeks we talked about the rift between Dom and Finn Balor. Like, if we don't get some kind of Judgment Day progression, then adding this to Backlash is just stupid. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's. Should Penta win, like you said? Yes. Should Dominic, though, lose the championship? No. I hate to kind of say it that way, but I think that's the best outcome here. And like I said, there should be something with the Judgment Day, because otherwise, why'd you add it?
Or a Jeff Cobb debut.
Well, you could add that into your Judgment Day and make him that member that Dom has been looking for God knows how long. You could swing it that way.
It's true, you could. Will they is the question. Because they kind of backdoored their way into this. There's really no build. It's kind of like giving Dominic and the way that when you have a match like this not built, just put it on Raw.
That's what I'm saying. This is a television match. This should have stayed on television. It's a TV
match, or you can put it on fucking Saturday night's main event at the end of the month. All you're doing right now, and yes, I want Dominic Mysterio to retain, but I wouldn't mind Penta winning either. But I just don't think they're going to do that, and I hate to sacrifice Penta for this, but it's just, you booked yourself into the corner. I wouldn't book myself into something like this. I just wouldn't. I don't think it's. I don't think it's good business.
They fucked the Luke. Was it Ray Phoenix last time with El Grande Americano?
Oh, God.
So
congratulations, by the way. He beat Chad Gable to a singles title. He's now the Speed champion.
Yeah, I saw that actually. I don't know. I hate it. I don't think it has any placement on the pay-per-view. I just don't. And
I think it's a way you book it on Raw. You book it's just, if you treat it like a throwaway, which is what you're doing, put it on Raw. No build, no nothing. Like this is, I feel like you're Tony Khan booking a pay-per-view at this time. You're just like, I'll just throw it on there. People watch it. It's like, no, you got to have something to go with it. And
I'd rather watch the Speed championship matches than this.
No shit.
Zero build whatsoever. And I don't want to sacrifice Penta. I don't want to sacrifice Don either, obviously, right now, like you said. You push yourself into a corner by doing it this way. If you sacrifice Penta on Raw, that's one thing, right? You sacrifice him at your next big PLE right after Mania. Like, we're already lost. It's like, what are you doing? Why are we doing this? Why?
I feel like this show is just going to be a giant why. Like at the end of this, when we actually review this, which, by the way, when we review this show, it will be on Facebook under the Pro Wrestling World page.
Yes.
So be prepared for that, folks, because now reviews are going to be done exclusively on the our YouTube page, Spotify, and now on PWW Facebook, which is fantastic because the last one did really good numbers, and hopefully that'll continue. And they seem to be very happy with it, even though sometimes we might cuss a lot. They're fine with it. I love it when they're just like,
that's a bad word.
They always are just like, make sure you guys don't put any copyright materials. It's just like, look, if we're doing this for YouTube, we're fine. I don't think you guys have to worry about it. It's like, we ain't no amateurs here. We know what we're doing. So we'll be able to, you can just go to the YouTube, the Facebook page next week. Just go to PWW, read an article that might annoy you, and also get our reviews on.
That will probably annoy you slightly less.
Yeah, slightly less. You'll get views and hopefully laugh at the fact of, because I'm already kind of writing the eulogy for next week for this thing, and I'm just like, I thanks for wasting my time. Like, that's the way I'm looking at this show. It's gonna be fun though, because we'll be watching it together.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that I'll be baked. So I'll be like, my brain will be mush by the time this thing gets to like McAfee and Gunther. I'll be like, what?
Yeah.
There's Moonrock, Dan. There's Moonrock.
There's Moonrock of that, Dan. I feel like it'll be a good show. But just right now, and as well as on paper, I'm just like, oh.
It's just the way that this thing is kind of being put together. And another match that's annoying me is the next one, where Jacob Fatu defends the title against LA Knight, Damian Priest, Andrew McIntyre, facing each other for the U.S. Championship in a fatal four-way. Why? Jeez.
This is so stupid.
Oh.
Listen, you just got out of a fatal 4-way for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. And at the very next pay-per-view, we're doing the same thing for the US Championship. Come on.
It's a throwaway, and you're putting in two people that really shouldn't be in. Like, all right, Damian Priest, you want to make the argument? You could be, all right, fine. You can make the argument for me. Drew McIntyre does not need to be anywhere near the fucking U.S. Championship for the IC title.
I just feel like they're inserting two feuds in one match, basically.
All I want to,
that's how I feel.
All that I want right now in life is for John Cena to get fucking claymored and Drew McIntyre covering him for a 1-2-3 and winning the WWE Championship. That's what I fucking want. I don't want Drew McIntyre going up against Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, and Damian Priest for a title he is above.
Yep, I agree.
He is punching down. He doesn't need to be doing that.
I also don't understand why he would do a job here either, honestly.
Well, he's not going to.
You think he's gonna win?
He's not. No, what I'm saying is that he's not going. Here's the thing about Fatal 4-Ways. He doesn't have to get pinned, which I don't think he's going to. If he gets pinned, if Drew McIntyre gets pinned by Jacob Fatu, I'm going to hit the fucking roof. Like, Damian Priest has to eat the pin on this. Of course, you can do it to LA Knight because LA Knight is bulletproof. So is Drew to an extent, but this is punching down for Drew. This is dumb. This makes no sense. Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre should be done, considering the fact that you just had that Sin City Street Fight, whatever the fuck that was,
right,
at Mania, which McIntyre won. So that's over. But of course, we got to do Randy Orton and John Cena for the fucking 90th time because it's in St. Louis. We promise, guys, it's going to be the final time.
Listen,
this is the last time. This is a bullshit.
I don't hate Cena and Orton though. Like I don't like the way it began. I like the progression. I'm talking this time specifically. I'm not talking about all the previous times leading up to this. Like, God, just this time. I don't hate it. I'm not in love with it. Obviously, it was something they're gonna do at some point. Cena and Randy Orton, Cena versus somebody else from his past. I get it. He should be putting over younger talent, but I mean, like, this is like a dream match for both of them to have it again. Again, I don't hate it.
It's a dream match we've seen 95 fucking times on paper.
I'm saying in this decade,
this is, you could put this on Saturday night's main event, make it,
Listen,
like
a
sentimental type deal.
I would rather that than at Backlash. I would rather that than pushing, Logan Paul and Jey Uso to Sunday night main event or Saturday night main event, excuse me. I would rather that. I hated a Backlash.
No, we'll get to that later. It's just more or less, but it's just the fact of that Drew McIntyre in a U.S. title match is a war crime offense. Like, that is something that you should be punished for by like the Hague.
It's so
God, it's so fucking, like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. No women's championship matches right now. Io Sky's not defending her title, and neither are they on SmackDown. For the life of me, I just forgot her, and I feel goddamn
Tiffany Stratton.
It's been a long week, folks. Sorry. It's been a long few weeks. But you got Tiffany Stratton, and you have Io Sky not defending their championships on the show. You have neither of the tag team championships on the show. But you know what you do have? Pat McAfee versus Gunther. Ugh.
I hate this. I hate this so much.
And I like Pat. Pat's cool shit. I like Pat. Okay? But just stop. Like, just stop. Like, aren't you doing enough shit? You got your ESPN gig, then you're doing Raw, Netflix. You got all this stuff going. College Game Day. You're like one of these sports guy right now. Why are you involved in this? Why? Why is this necessary? The choking out of announcers has happened. Michael Cole got F5 for Christ's sake by Brock Lesnar. Do you think a month later at the next pay-per-view he's going to go challenge Brock Lesnar? Fuck that. Pat McAfee versus Gunther, though. God.
The biggest
Are you
issue,
fucking kidding me?
The biggest issue for me is twofold, right? So number one, Gunther literally was world champion like less than 30 days ago. And you're putting him in the ring against fucking Pat McAfee?
3 weeks after WrestleMania. 3 weeks. He went from Jey Uso to Pat McAfee. And the rumor mill is Goldberg will have
Well,
a play
that
in
brings
this
me
match.
to my next gripe that I don't fucking want that either.
Exactly. Because Gunther is the one that is slated to be the man that puts the man down. The retirement match for Goldberg. I don't know. I'm assuming it's probably going to happen in Saudi Arabia. I don't know when that next show is for that.
I'm assuming that would be the
Yeah,
case.
I'm assuming because it's going to be a big payday and all that stuff. Which, okay, fine. If this is the last time I got to see Goldberg and this is his retirement match for real, I'll deal with it.
Stop
Rosso.
giving washed up talent main event or major PLE spots.
I know.
Just fucking saying.
Or announcers.
Or announcers that matter. You're right.
Because I hate this. It's dumb. It's pointless. And I've used the F word a lot tonight because this show deserves it. The way this show is booked, the way this show looks on paper, it deserves is the amount of Fs I could give. Because it's the really only Fs I'm going to be throwing out there. Because really, the majority of it, I can give a fuck about.
Yep.
And this is one of the main reasons why. Because you're taking a guy who is one of the most believable guys on your roster, and you're putting him up against a guy who makes dick jokes for a living on fucking ESPN. You want me to be happy about this?
I mean, I'm not happy about it.
No! And now we gotta throw Goldberg into the mix. I mean, I guess if you're gonna bring him back, though, you better patch him into the 2K game.
Oh,
If we're gonna go that, then patch him in.
I don't even want
Christ.
that. Even if I had it, I wouldn't want it. I just
Wow, you job him out anyways.
yeah. I don't care about that. I don't care about this match. And if the rumors are true, then it is Goldberg and coming out and all that. I don't want that either. Like, you're wasting my time. That's kind of how I feel about this entire night. It's a time sink. Like, I don't really care about any of these things. Maybe Cena and Orton to a degree, but other than that, you haven't done anything to regain my trust after WrestleMania.
No. This is not how you follow up something that people are already questioning. Like, everybody was unhappy. The majority of the public was unhappy with WrestleMania this year. The majority of the public believed that the main event for WrestleMania this year was worse than any other main event in the history of WrestleMania in history, including WrestleMania 9. WrestleMania 9 had a better ending than WrestleMania 41.
I don't even feel like it's a hot take.
It's not.
I don't. I don't.
I mean-
I can't sit here and say that I would disagree with that statement. I just
And it wasn't the biggest disaster that Travis Scott was involved in either. Are we not forgetting about Astro World? I mean,
yes, yeah.
this is probably a whole bunch of people that just went, oh, the whole groan. But it's fucking true.
Yeah, that's how I feel about this card too.
It's like, I'm looking at this and it's just like, God. You know, and speaking of punching down, we talked about Drew McIntyre punching down. Becky Lynch, one of probably the biggest female star in company history. She's going for the Intercontinental Championship against Lyra Valkyria. And the only thing I could think of is Becky's got to get her win back because she put her over on NXT for the NXT Championship not so long ago.
I mean, either that or Bailey is back and she's gonna, feud with her. I don't know.
Yes, that whole situation, which still pisses me off to no end.
Yeah. Like, how many times have we done that too?
The whole Bailey thing getting screwed over at WrestleMania, where I was just like, Bailey's the real victim of everything. She missed a WrestleMania payday just so that way it's Lyra and Becky winning the titles and then dropping them immediately the next night because fuck you, we got to do this. That's why.
Speaking of Bailey, by the way, did you see what the coach said about her the other day?
What did he say?
Recently, apparently he doesn't understand why Bailey is over. Something basically to that effect. He said more than that, but that was the gist of it.
Coach is a fucking idiot.
I agree.
Like, I put him in this. Anybody, he's also like a part of like the Russo clique.
Yeah.
So it's like anybody that's in that Russo clique, their credibility to me is shot.
One of the
Dead.
comments that I think I read that he had made about it too was, she never sold a ticket. I literally started laughing when I read that comment, like, and you have, bro? Like,
He's never sold a ticket. Fuck you. Like, that is just such a dumb comment. And, maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, if he said that, I probably would have been like, you know what, Coach is right. But Bailey was one of the MVPs during that fucking COVID era.
Yep.
She was one of the people that made that show fucking entertaining. There were a lot of things that were not entertaining about WWE during that time. But you know who the two people that made it entertaining? Drew McIntyre and Bailey.
Yep.
Becky probably would have too, but Becky was out on leave because she was having a baby.
Yep.
So it's like I can't really knock her for that.
No, I don't knock her for it, but
that's so disrespectful to a guy that never really drew a fucking dime in his life.
I know. Oh, man.
I was at ESPN. Yeah, and you failed. Then they brought you back and they fired you again.
He was so fucking overrated anyways.
He was so bad. Like, he had a good, like, voice for it, right? You know, he had that broadcaster's voice.
He did. Yeah.
But it's just, he didn't have the personality for me, ever. He had go-away heat with me as a heel. He wasn't even that good at it. And just comments like that just shows you how out of touch he is. Like, just completely out of touch, and I turned around the corner on Bailey and I've seen the hard work that she's put in, and she's become one of my all-time favorites. I like her a hell of a lot better than I do Mercedes and fucking Charlotte, for that matter. She's earned my respect a lot more than those two have, even Becky at certain points.
Well, hold on. So I found the quote. This is on a recent Behind the Turnbuckle interview. Coach went in on Bailey, saying Bailey is done. She's washed up, and that's a separate quote. She's boring. She's nothing anymore. She's been boring since day one. I just don't think she's ever sold a ticket for any rivalry that she's ever had. That is according to Coach.
Coach is a fucking moron. He just is. He's dumb. That is a dumb comment to make. That is somebody, and So what's he going to do? So come out there and be like, Mercedes sells more tickets. Why don't you throw that out there? What has she done for fucking business since she's shown up with that company? You're gonna question Bailey, but you're not gonna question Mercedes?
I mean, listen, I didn't get the interview. That was only segments that were quoted. If he said anything about that or anybody else, I have no idea. But plus, I don't know.
I was
the
in
context
fucking
of why
Tampa.
He said it.
I was at the Trop when she won the Rumble last year. Everybody in the fucking building, which was over 50,000, maybe between 40 and 50,000 people at that building. The majority of them were cheering for Bailey when she won the Rumble.
I think most of them, like as fans, from what I can remember, I think most of them wanted her to win anyways.
Yeah. She went in there as a sentimental favorite. Everybody was happy when she won.
Yeah. Yep.
But dipshit has to throw his comment. You know, it's another. When you're friends with Russo, you say things to get shock value out there. And actually, somebody on PWW, I think it was Dave, that did write an article recently about Bailey, about like how the best is behind her, and how the rest of her career, you know, like that her peak is done, and now she's in the twilight of her career. And it's like, come on.
I think she still competes at a reasonably high level. Number one, but number two, I think she is in a wind down, but I think that's number one. I think it's on her terms. I don't think it's going to be anything where it's forced. But I also think she realizes she's probably not going to resign after her contract's up. That's the vibe I get. And I think she's kind of said something about that recently, if I remember correctly, on CTV.
It depends if, well, I mean, the question is where she's going after that.
I mean, she's got money. I don't think she really needs to worry too much.
Does she want to go back to Does she want to go to AEW? I mean, they might re-sign her. They might throw enough money at her. Things might change in a year and a half. Jim Ross always said it best. It's always cash and creative.
I think if anything, she'll just sign a creative deal or something like that.
Who knows?
Or, you know,
I don't see her going to AEW because I think she's just going to be like, no. Because really, I don't think Tony Khan is ever going to pay a woman the level that he's paying Mercedes again. So I think that male talent, that's different, but women talent, I don't think he's ever going to pay what Mercedes is making again. I think he is kind of regretting that side of, at least the financial terms of it. Because what's she done?
Yeah, but is that on her? Is that on him? That's my whole issue.
Combination of both. Because I don't think she's
agree.
as talented as she thinks she is.
Well, no fucking shit.
And I think that she hasn't made any stars out of this. You can make the argument of Haley Cameron, but I think she did it on her own. It had nothing to do with Mercedes. If anything, I think she got the puppet of Mercedes over more than Mercedes.
Yeah, she did.
And, you look at Toni Storm and the work she did with Mariah May. Mariah May is going to make a lot of fucking money because of Toni Storm and the work that they were able to do with AEW. That whole angle that they pulled off. Mariah May should be very thankful for Toni Storm for now being able to get her a big money deal with WWE. So I don't know if Bailey would go make the switch over there, because I don't know. I think that TKO is willing to pay talent more money, including women. We'll talk about their financial situation after we talk about this card, which is actually very good. I'm not trying to make all some doom and gloom for people, but their financial situation is very, very good, it looks like. So from that perspective, I still feel like that it could be a return situation for Bailey, which is okay. All right, whatever. But again, I feel like that Becky is punching down, kind of like how Drew is fighting for a mid-card championship. And some people would probably, well, they're using their star power to get the championship over. Well, considering the fact that Lyra Valkyria has been the first Intercontinental Champion, and this is for women, and I think this is the first time that I've seen her on a pay-per-view defending the championship.
As far as I know, yeah.
That shows you the priority that they have made this championship. They did with the U.S. title. I will with Chelsea. They made that a priority. And Chelsea did a hell of a job getting that title over. But they have done a great disservice to Lyra and the IC championship, at least on the women's side.
I don't know how to feel about that, because like you said, okay, yeah, putting Becky in this, it elevates the title a little bit, and I understand that. I respect that opinion, but she hasn't done anything with the belt in months. She had like random offshoot things. She had a match with Dakota Kai. I think she had a match with somebody else at some point, and that was kind of it. Like, I'll say it this way, and I know it's gonna sound a little bit fucked up, but when they released Dakota Kai, I was like, why not release Valkyria? I know she's the IC champion, but what the fuck?
Well, I mean, I think Lyra is like 25, and like Dakota Kai is, I think,
like
past
37, 38.
Yeah, so they're looking completely at, well, why are we going to cut the one that's under 25, like under 30? And yeah, and they're just thinking. I understand that could have been a age and injury history cut, which I understand that. I don't know, but to me, I felt like it was just like, really?
Yeah. No, I agree.
But yeah, this is another match I feel like that's on this card that's just like, who gives a shit, And man, maybe they should just call it "Who Gives a Shit Lash." I don't know, because
why Lash?
Yeah,
Why Lash?
Like there's 6,000. Or just question Lash. Like, I don't know. There's just so many fucking things that this could be called other than Backlash.
Crap.
And Wacklash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wacklash. Fucklash. Like everything I could come up with that like has the CK involved. God. Yeah, I think that's it really for the moment. Fucklash, Junklash, Awful Lash. Like
Ash
there's so
Lash.
Ash Lash. There's so many there's so many descriptions you can make of the show. There really just is. And I always love that clip going around too, where it's just like where Triple H accuses us of like, well, a lot of these guys, they just ruin it for everybody else. It's like, oh, they just tell us how things are going to go. And then they just ruin it for people. And it's like, look at, I'm a pundit. That's what I'm supposed to do. Like, Tony Romo does the same thing, color commentating in football. Same thing that every analyst does. They're supposed to tell you what they think is going to happen or a reactionary tale. That's what we're doing. That's what we get paid to do. And I got to sit here and I got to hear the guy that is in the most powerful position in pro wrestling today. You're ruining it for people. Paul, do me a favor if you're listening to this. If you're saying how I'm ruining it for people, book a better product or give me a call. Just give me a call. Call them down. Call HR. They probably got my number on file. We can have a conversation. Pick up the phone. Anytime. Anytime, Paul. Bruce. Anybody that's in that company, they want to call me creatively, I'll be happy to talk to you. Send the jet. I'll be at the show. I'll write it while I'm on the jet. I'll write angles. You want me to do it? Fine. Fuck it. Let's go. I'd save you so much money because you could get rid of half your writing staff and keep the good ones and just have me do it. People wouldn't be complaining. And you wouldn't have continuity issues up the ass.
Oh my God, I know. I'm gonna say it this way, at least for what I feel like, right? I feel like once they hit the Rumble, they just like ran into a wall. Like you know Wile E. Coyote when sometimes he's chasing Roadrunner and he just runs into a brick wall. Like that's how this felt.
Felt like as soon as New Year's hit, it's just like, well, time's up.
I don't say that. I'll give them to the Rumble, but I feel like
because
the Rumble they had like no plan.
You could argue that maybe up until the Netflix deal, once they went to Netflix, that first episode, everything has just been kind of like,
yeah, they did fuck themselves on that.
Yeah, it's just the second Hulk Hogan came out, it's just like, oh my God, everything went to shit. And I can't say that actually because the main event between Punk and Seth Rollins was off the chain, but we all knew it was going to be anyways. But you're coming into this, and your world champion is John Cena, and now for the third consecutive decade, Randy Orton and John Cena are going to main event a wrestling pay-per-view. What the fuck? Like, it's 2025.
I don't hate it, but here's the problem. We talked about the main event of WrestleMania 41 already a little bit earlier, and you and I think the week after WrestleMania compared it to the previous WrestleManias of 40 and 39, where you have a lot of action, you have a lot of high spots, the cinematography to it, everything. And then this year you have a 2 to 3 minute intro of Travis Scott who's doing a quote unquote run in. I just, and the fact, and I think you mentioned this when we talked about it in our review of WrestleMania, where he kicks him in the balls, gives him an AA, and then that was it. Whereas the year before, he's eating like 3 spears, multiple run-ins, like all these different things that are going on in those matches. And this year we get that.
This is the 22nd time that Randy Orton and John Cena will be facing each other in a one-on-one contest.
Well, here's what I'm trying to say at the end of the day. John Cena really got exposed to his age at WrestleMania 41.
Oh, yeah, he sure did.
Randy Orton still looks very good in the ring. I don't put this in the main event. I can't. Because if Cena's going to shit up the fucking ring again, I don't want to watch it. I love Randy, and I kind of feel bad that he's getting this version of John Cena.
It really is a shame that two of the best workers in the company, Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, the last 2 months have had to deal with a past their prime John Cena and just having to carry this guy who should not be world champion at all.
Yeah.
You are sacrificing this whole experiment, and it's not just me saying this. That is because some would argue that I am extremely a biased John Cena hater. And maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe not. Maybe go fuck yourself.
Maybe go rewatch WrestleMania 41 and see how much he fucking sucked in that match.
Exactly. I'm not sitting here as a Cena hater. If John Cena tore it down at WrestleMania and looked like John Cena of 2008, 2010, 2012, 2013 even, 2015,
I wouldn't be disappointed.
2017, I would say, great, good on him.
Yep.
Let him run it. But this heel turn has been weak, extremely weak, underwhelming.
Because she's not fucking there.
It's just that, and it's just not hitting. It's just not. It's just they're not doing anything different with his character, except he's just going on Reddit and reading the same fucking comments that people have been making about the guy since 2005. All his promos are now. They're just a long ass Reddit post.
I did think it was funny that Randy was just like, go have kids. I've been
You
raising
should.
kids
No,
for
he's right.
25 years. Thought that was pretty good.
It was, it's also interesting too how the roles have kind of
Reversed.
come into
yeah.
It's just like, well, it's just the fact that Randy now is like, he's still the same guy, and it's different because he never he likes to be a heel. He doesn't like to be a babyface. But he's at a stage in his career where it's like you're never gonna be a heel again. Like, because they love you no matter what. If you go heel, they're still gonna cheer for you. Because you're fucking Randy Orton. That's how it's become.
Yep.
John Cena, there's always been a segment of the audience
I booed him anyway.
that think he's a complete fucking asshole and have booed him since 2005, 2006.
Yep. Dude, once he became the Marine, like he became his character in the movies, I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
Comes out with that fucking salute.
Yeah,
Like,
salute.
fuck you.
Get out of here, bro. I just, for me, it's a situation where, as I said before, Randy still looks very good in the ring. Came back, like, holy shit, body transformation and everything. Really, I felt like, and he's just a great talent all around. He has been for 20 plus years, and he gets a John Cena in 2025 that is not John Cena of 2005 or even 2010 or 2012 or any year, really, if you think about it. It's just he's not the same guy. And that was exposed at WrestleMania, like I said before. And I just it's like the cherry on top of a shit sandwich that we're getting at this pay-per-view, I feel like.
For the 22nd time, we have to see these two face off again in a one-on-one match.
But it's nostalgia, Dad.
Oh, God. That's just what this whole fucking run is. I forgot.
Yeah,
Right.
Let's be real.
This is what this whole run is. And I only got a month in 2002 when Hulk Hogan beat Triple H at Backlash and then lost the title a month later at Judgment Day to The Undertaker back in 2002. Are we going to be so lucky this time? Just like this 3-week reign. I mean, I'm hoping for the best. Unless now The Rock couldn't make WrestleMania, he somehow makes his appearance now to fuck Randy Orton over, where I'm just like...
Yeah, and then he's going to fuck off and then say it was because ticket sales weren't that great. Like, I can't. you had so many options coming out of the Netflix deal, out of the Royal Rumble, and I just felt like since those two events, especially, the product has not been the same. Yes, you have some good matches. Yes, you have good segments, and some of the matches at WrestleMania, like we said it, like we're good, but the placement of the matches, how some of them occurred, and just overall, especially the main event, just did not work. Now we're coming into this, and this is really where they should be trying to hit their stride, and I just feel like they're like not even like nope, we're good. We're gonna back off now. We're not gonna hit our stride at all. I just feel like, what are you doing with this entire card? What are you doing? You throw in Dom and Penta. You're doing another mid card fatal 4-way match for a championship. Pat McAfee and Gunther. Just why? Why? Lyra Valkyria, Becky Lynch. You haven't done enough to convince me that this should be a match. And again, as you said, Becky's drilling down. Drew is drilling down. They should be in the main events. So should Randy Orton, but definitely not John Cena.
John Cena represents everything. It's like,
listen, if John Cena could still go, I don't think we'd have as much of a problem as we do with it.
I'm trying to think of a guy. It's kind of like John Smoltz on the Red Sox.
Jesus Christ.
It's like, you got to retire. But they throw money at him, and it literally is that 1 year contract for like a guy that got released by the franchise that he was known for. And he decides to go play a year for another team, but he's washed. That didn't happen. Cena's just coming back, and it's just like, it's almost like he took a. I'm trying to think of a guy that stayed with it, that retired with a team, and then came back a couple of years later, and he sucked.
I mean, that could be a lot of people.
That could be a lot of people.
For God knows what reason that you're saying that, it reminds me of Tom Barrage's character in Major League.
Oh, God.
I don't know why.
He's in Mexico, and my knees hurt. I've been drinking all night. My favorite. They call Lou Brown for the job. I got a guy. How would you like to manage the Indians? I don't know, Charlie.
Oh, shit.
I got a guy on the other line who wants to get some white walls. I'll call you later. He's trying to sell tires to somebody instead of coaching the goddamn Cleveland Indians.
Fuck.
It's just hilarious because most guys would jump at that chance, and he's just like, I don't know. It's like,
oh, shit.
Even it's the Indians, you're still taking the job.
I'm like, fuck, I guess so. Oh, that's funny.
I mean, Belichick took the UNC job.
Belichick, I don't think I have any other options anyways.
And he's not going to after the recent fucking shit. Jesus. We're not talking about this. Shut up! Sit in the fucking corner and shut up! You were born when I was in high school. I don't want to hear it.
I mean, I don't know what.
Actually, no. She was born when we were in college.
Yeah, I know. I try not to think about it.
I gotta fucking, and it's just for all those years, too, that I sat there and I was just like, in Belichick we trust. It's like, no, that was all Brady. Fuck you.
I don't want to say it that way, but I think that scale is tipped for sure. I would agree.
And then just not mentioning Bob Kraft in your book at all. I understand.
I mean, dude, He's a curmudgeon. What are you gonna say?
Oh my God. But it's just, dude, come on, Bill. Come on. Nobody else was going to hire you after you quit the Jets. Kraft hires you. I understood. The three championships.
I think he could have gotten a job as like an assistant.
Probably. But I mean, that vacant, that resigning on a cocktail napkin really didn't get him many favors around the league, let's face it.
I think it's hilarious that he's even taking the UNC job, honestly, because he definitely doesn't need it.
No, he doesn't need it. He doesn't need the job. I think that there are rumors he's taking the job, though, to set up his sons for a future gig, which is all in all possible.
I've heard that.
Of course, it's also getting a payday for the missus, which she has a real estate portfolio now in the city of Boston. I'm still trying to what?
Yeah, but I mean, again, with whose money?
Exactly. I mean, I guess good on her for doing that for a while.
Jesus Christ.
I guess you're earning your cash. I don't know. Just, it's so, it's hard because and we've had this conversation with many friends, and I had to say it. I'm like, all those years I defended him for this. It's just, why must I get proven wrong?
I don't know, dude. Hey,
why?
I'm just saying all the power to him, but just weird situation.
It really is. It's just it's weird, and I'm just And the show is weird, and I'm just
It stinks.
Exactly, Jay Sherman.
That's what this. But it does. That's exactly what it stinks.
It stinks. It's terrible.
It'll probably be good matches. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, this is. You called it a B show. I'm gonna say it's like a D show or an F show. I don't even know if I put these matches on TV together. Especially like Gunther and McAfee. I don't even do that. I don't do that. Becky and Lyra, that's TV. And it, arguably shouldn't even happen anyways. Becky Lynch being a first.
This wouldn't even be good if it was on Tuesday in Texas.
Ah, God, yeah. This wouldn't be a good Thursday Night Thunder. I'm not interested in any of this, honestly. Cena and Orton, I get it, nostalgia, whatever. Becky and Lyra doesn't make sense. Gunther and McAfee doesn't make sense. For 2, LA Knight, okay. Adding Damian Priest, okay. Drew shouldn't be in this match.
Nope.
And then Dom and Penta should be on TV too.
Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest a year ago were battling for the World Heavyweight Championship on Raw. And now they are facing off in a fatal four-way for the U.S. Championship. Becky Lynch has one of the strongest resumes in company history. She is challenging for the Intercontinental Championship on the women's side. And then for the 22nd fucking time, John Cena and Randy Orton in a one-on-one match, this time for the WWE Championship. Randy Orton chasing his 15th championship, where John Cena is already at his 18th, 17th. So he's just trying to hold on to his record, which Flair now is very funny and now calling himself like a 21 or 22-time world champion, which he is. That is a accurate number, folks. so to speak, because of the Phantom Championship victories and the which Phantom Championship victories that people may ask, what are those? When you're in the territory system, and it's not on TV occasionally, let's say you're in a house show, and maybe to get some money up or the tour up or something like that, where I think there was a time in Australia where Flair dropped the NWA Championship a couple of, like 1 or 2 times, I think, to Harley Race during the tour to kind of get the numbers up on other places, which were, I believe, counted by the National Wrestling Alliance and the record books. Then, of course, we could go back to 1993 when Vader lost the WCW Championship to Sting during a European tour, which was about 6 days. Antonio Inoki beat Bob Backlund for the WWE WWF Championship during the late 70s in Japan, but it wasn't really recognized in the WWF. Another famous one that I'm trying to remember, with also involved Ric Flair, took place in the Dominican Republic. He fought Jack Vivino. Flair was afraid that he was going to get killed by either rioters or even the police, because he had Roddy Piper with him for backup. And when Roddy Piper went in to kind of interfere in the finish, he was almost killed by soldiers with guns who were trying to stop him from trying to interfere in a match that, again, is predetermined where he was supposed to do it. And they took it seriously. So Flair, because he didn't want to end up killed by soldiers or by rioters, decided, Jack, you're going to beat me right now for the title. And then the title was sent back to Flair by FedEx the next day. So Flair is now calling himself a 21 or a 22-time world champion, which he has every right to do so due to the Phantom Championship. It's just, it's like, oh, you raise one bar, I'm going to raise it again. We're going to go with my Phantom Championship losses. But yeah, this is the sad state of affairs. We've looked at the backlash events the last couple of years. The one in Puerto Rico was fantastic with Bad Bunny and Damian Priest.
Yep.
Last year's edition, which I believe took place from Paris. And now this year, yeah, it's in St. Louis. Randy Orton is in the main event, but it's against a guy that he's already fought 21 other times.
Tell us how you really feel, Dan.
We used to complain about like The Undertaker and Steve Austin having all those one-on-one matches.
I never complained about that.
No, but like other people would. And that was over only like a 5-year period between like 97 and 2002, where this has been going on. I think their first matchup on a pay-per-view was in 2007. 18 years, 22 times. It's just,
again, like if he could still go, I don't know if I'd care as much about that. But he can't. That's the problem. And you put him in the main event of WrestleMania and he stunk up the joint. And now you're going to put him against Randy Orton?
Because remember, his angle is to ruin wrestling, which is fucking stupid. That is a dumb angle, especially when you have all this momentum from previous years. from the previous years of hard work that's been made by other guys other than this piece of shit. But for some reason, you got to have him have his fucking due. Oh, we're going to give him a run. You've already given him a fucking run. It's done. It's over with. Tired of dealing with his fucking ass.
I just
He's still the champion. Yeah, why?
yeah, seriously. I don't know. The whole thing just happened weird. Like, okay, Cody's gone. No Cody, which whatever. I get it. Well earned time off, by the way. But then what happens here if he beats Randy Orton? Like, does Randy just go away and somebody else comes up? Like, I don't know. You're not telling me any story. You're not doing anything for me. This entire card feels like that. You can meet the argument for Fatu and LA Knight and Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre. Okay, you've built that up a little bit. Yes, you have built up a little bit Becky and Lyra. Yes, you've built up a little bit with Brandy and John. McAfee and Gunther got into it, choked him out, and then the next week he's back because they want a match. Like, come on. Plus, it's freaking McAfee. Dom and Penta, you literally just like, hey, okay, we're just gonna throw that in there too. A lot of this, you're not doing anything for me. You're not telling me any story. You're not getting me invested in it. It feels, I don't know, like uninspired, I guess. Like, I don't know. It's a weird card.
It's a weird card coming after an underwhelming WrestleMania. And that really needed kind of a follow-up to kind of get everybody to be like, all right, look, we haven't completely lost our fucking minds. But the show is just, on paper at least, telling me it's like, do they even know what the fuck they're doing anymore? And I get it. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm not giving it time to kind of cook, so to speak. But fact is that I don't think it's impatience. I think it's just the fact that I'm expecting more than what we're getting. And I've expected a lot more from Triple H, at least.
I don't know. I felt that coming out of WrestleMania, arguably the best match of the entire weekend was Io, Bianca, and Rhea.
Yes.
Bianca's not even there. Rhea wasn't there this week, but she's been prominent in, okay, I'm coming after you, Io. Io has had matches with Roxanne Perez and with Stephanie Vicaire. There has been zero build for her for anything else, aside from getting attacked by Roxanne Perez and Julia the last couple of weeks.
And she's teaming with Rhea Ripley on Raw this week.
Yeah.
To go up against Julia and
Roxanne.
Yeah. If Julia's not heard from that fucking spot from goddamn NXT this past week.
Yeah, that did not look good. She got up though, I don't know. But I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, like I don't get it. I don't get it. You're not doing anything with them. You're teasing different things with Tiffany, but there's no progression with any of that shit really right now. I don't know. And like you said, there's no tag team titles up for it at this point either.
Nope.
It's just I don't.
Which should be a high considering the fact of that TLC match that they just had a few weeks back, which did really, really well.
Yeah, I thought that was very well done. It's just I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't. And I would really rather the Fatal 4-Way be the main event than John Cena. Cena and Randy Orton.
They think they're doing fantastic considering the financial results that have come out for the first quarter of 2024. And TKO announced a revenue of an income of $165.5 million in the first quarter of 2025, meaning that they made money, so they don't care. They're going to look at it as we're doing fine. Of course, this is including now the money from Netflix, the PLE money. The Netflix is big because that now that is a $500 million a year stake on your books. So on top of SmackDown, which probably nets you another 250 to 300, on top of your another 200 million a year from Peacock. So you're looking at about $1 billion just in TV revenue every year from this company. And that doesn't include the live event business. That doesn't include your merchandising. That doesn't include sponsorships, which are all over the show now. No matter what, they're looking at this as a success. It drives me crazy because under the Triple H era, it's been like, we're going to try to strive for a better product. They have. Is it better than 4 years ago, 5 years ago? Yeah. But it could be a lot better. Could be a lot better. And it's just annoying that we have to sit here and be like, oh, great. Let's watch this show and get mad about it.
I mean, I almost feel like it should be a case study too. Like it's just that weird to me how it goes from I would say a year and a half ago to really, really high point to what we're getting on Saturday. It's just weird. I remember, I think it was 2024. We were talking about 2024, how there was only really one bad show.
Yep.
And then it feels like in 2025, early 2025, because it's only May right now, we've had a couple bad shows.
Yep.
I hope they listen to the certain segment of the internet wrestling community that is like us, that's like, hey, what are you guys doing right now? Like, what are you doing?
I'm not trying to be as animated as like a JD from New York. Even though I like
I'm not
JD.
either. Yeah.
I'm not trying to be as animated as some of the guys on like Busted Open, like Dave on Busted Open, who again I like. I'm just trying to come out here and tell you honestly, because I try to be fair and balanced on this program. And I'm not just also blowing smoke when I say that, because there were a lot of guys, especially if you like the news, right, with Fox News and that type of stuff. I'm also not trying to also get headlines. I'm just trying to tell you like it is. And I'm here to say that, yeah, this is disappointing. The last few months with WWE have been extremely disappointing. WrestleMania, I felt like at certain points was a chore to watch. This show, I kind of feel similar. On paper, at least.
I mean, listen, it very well could surprise us. You know, I would be happy to say that next week. I just don't think it's going to.
You know what'll be good though? The weed. The weed will be good.
That's fair.
That'll be good. And then we can just forget about it. We can just be like, all right, let's just do more drugs. It'll be fine. Like, let's Let's just smoke this. We're fine. It's fine. Shiny, happy people. No, it's just,
Smoke.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you, if that's the only way I could have gotten through WWE at certain points, like 2018, 2019. It's like, well, gotta go to the dispensary again. It's just, oh man. And mind you, I have to do that less now. It's not like I had, the show, like Monday was a really good Raw. Monday was a really good Raw.
Yeah.
But you still got PLEs you got to do. And that's usually like where the casual, everybody kind of tunes into that because it's on the weekend. We can devote 3 or 4 hours a week, 3 or 4 hours to that, but some of us might not be able to get to Raw, SmackDown every week, being able to catch it. Some of us might not be able to. So the only time that they really have a chance to enjoy the show is that one day a month. And you're doing yourself a great disservice to those people that sub to Peacock every month, that want to be entertained, that want to feel like that their opinion matters, and not expecting a main event to be going on for the fucking 22nd time. I gotta keep saying it because it bothers me that much. It bothers me that much. 22nd time in 18 years. Randy Orton and John Cena.
I don't know.
Ugh.
I don't. I get it. I get both sides of it. Like I said, I get it from your perspective where it's like we've done this already, but I get it also from the nostalgia aspect of it. It doesn't need to be the main event. It doesn't need to be for the title. That's my biggest issue, and that's going to be my issue with every match that he has until he drops it. Honestly, like it's just straight up.
If he drops the title, then I'll be like, all right, this show's great.
I don't think he's going to drop the title, sadly.
No, I don't either. So we're fucked.
My biggest fear with this match is that they bring Cody back early and he costs Randy the title and then they start to feud. Because I think it's way too early to do that. And I think it should be for the title. So I hope they don't do that. I really hope they don't. But obviously there's going to be some weird situation that I feel like with this match.
Oh yeah, I feel like too that there's going to be some kind of, maybe this is where Jeff Cobb gets involved,
I hope not.
and be's John Cena's heater. I don't know. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm going to be honest. I am looking forward to it. I'm not. The card I feel like is subpar at best. And just,
I think they'll be decent matches. I'm not interested in any of it.
no. You haven't made me care. And that's, I think, the big disconnect I think most people are having with the show. It's not just me, that most people had with WrestleMania. I don't want to sit here and bitch about the product. But guess what? When AEW does something shitty, I call them out. When WWE is going to do something shitty, I got to call them out too.
I feel like we've definitely done that tonight.
So that way those assholes don't have to be like, you're fucking Israel and all you're talking about is... Yeah, I'm shitting on them.
I feel
Giving
like
you
we've
proof
been-
right now.
I mean, listen. I feel like we've been the last couple of weeks.
We've been hard. We even going into WrestleMania, we were
Yeah.
hard on them.
I agree, 100%. We were.
That's why I was glad last week we had Cindy on with Lewis, because I even said it to him. I'm just like, I'm glad I don't have to talk about WrestleMania and John Cena for a week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because coming into this show, I'm just like, great. Gotta talk about this again. Great. Love this championship, Braden. Like, this is one of the best one ever.
Oh, it's horrible.
All
It's
they wanted to
horrible.
do was check that box off so bad, like so badly. That's all they wanted to do was check that box off for the best wrestling heel turn of all time. And I told everybody, I'm like, they're making this number one. They don't know the payoff yet. You can't even rank it without knowing what the payoff is going to be and how people are going to be happy with it. Guess what? No one was happy with John Cena at WrestleMania. Yeah, the audience popped, but the majority of the people that sat home was just like, what the fuck was that?
I just.
And now, every time that he wrestles in a PLE, you are going to have to go through the same thing over and over and over again until you finally realize, hey, maybe we should get the fucking belt off him because he can't go anymore to the level we need him to go.
Who does he drop the belt to, though? That's the biggest question.
I don't care. I don't fucking care. Just get the belt off him. I really don't. Like, it's just, it doesn't matter. Get fucking Brock Lesnar. Just get Brock Lesnar out there. And just maul him like a fucking tiger.
So what are we doing Tuesday in Texas?
I don't care. Do it in a fucking Waffle House at 4 o'clock in the morning in Chicago. I don't give a shit. I don't even know if Chicago has Waffle Houses.
I don't know either, but that'd be
I think
funny.
it's more like a southern thing. So, like, Columbia, South Carolina, whatever. I don't give a shit.
I don't know where they are.
They're all over the South. Nashville. I don't know. Like, this, it's a... 22 fucking times. I understand. You want to be able to check that box off. It's like, we got to have him we got to have him turn heel. We've never done it before. And I used to think to myself, they don't want to do it because Vince McMahon wouldn't know how to do it. Vince would have done a better job. Vince would have done a better job of this heel turn. Because Vince knows how to pick depraved shit. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, I don't disagree with you, but first of all, I don't want to say that, but I also feel that he might have done a little bit better, but again, he just can't go in the fucking ring. Like, it's one thing to be a good heel and to like there to me there are two levels of heels, right? So one is like the Miz, who is decent in the ring and can actually use the mic. The other is like a chicken shit heel. Cena doesn't even really fall into the category.
No.
Because he's not good in the ring.
No.
I thought he sucked in the ring back then. It's way worse now.
Oh, no. It's just, he doesn't have the same snap that he used to. That comes with age, of course. No. You check the box off. You got what you wanted. Get the belt off him. Just get it off him.
It sucks because I don't think they're going to do it, man.
You want to know what it is? Because you're going to get back to a level shortly. Maybe not this time because it's St. Louis. But you're going to get to a time where people are going to start leaving before the main event to beat traffic. If you let this go on any further, you need to heed my advice and just take the belt off him. Go back to business as usual.
I don't disagree. I just don't know who they give it to. Number one, and number two, I don't think they're gonna do it.
I know they're not going to do it. I know they're not going to do it, and it's aggravating. But it's just, what do you want me to tell you?
Take the belt off.
Do you want me to lie to you, or do you want me to tell you what I think is going to happen? And again, because there's one thing that I always like to brag about, and it's the fact that I was right. I don't like being wrong. Nobody does. But when it comes to this, I don't like to be wrong. Because God didn't give me the gift of being able to pick a stock. He wasn't able to give me a gift on being able to hit a baseball or throw a baseball. He gave me the gift and the unique ability to know this industry cover to cover. So when it comes to certain things about this industry, I want to be right. I want to be right about talent. I want to be right about companies. I want to be right about guys who are running the company. Because I have devoted my life and my thought process to this thing for close to 35 years. And I want it to be able to be fun. And I'm sure that some would argue that I've never really had fun in this industry. And that's not true. I had a lot of fun last year. I had a lot of fun 2 years ago. I had a lot of fun 2.5 years ago. Had fun when it was the tribal chief. Had fun when CM Punk choked out Jack Perry, and then within like 2 months was back in the WWE. Cry me a river.
It's real glass.
It's just hard. It's hard to be positive when you know the show could be a lot better, but you're stuck with it. And that's what we are, folks, this weekend. We are stuck with it. Anything else we should add about this show and even this, because it's like I feel like we have exhausted enough to be like, considering the fact that they have booked this show like they don't care, why should we care about this preview?
I mean, we
Why
cared.
should we
just shit all over it.
Exactly, we do care. But like, why should we give you like this in-depth analysis of everything and give you like a 2.5-hour show and break down every single angle? Because the last thing I want to do is to have to sit here and break this down and also just be like, well, I think, what's going to be the first one? I don't give a shit.
What is there to break down? Like, I know I'm being, somewhat sarcastic when I say that, obviously, but at the same token, like, okay, like this match, these matches, excuse me, for the entire night, like, don't do anything for me.
No.
Do I think they'll be good? Yeah, I think they'll be serviceable. But I just, other than that, I'm not invested, like we talked about. It's one thing to, have, I don't know, any of these matches in some cases on television. It would make more sense. I just, I don't know. I guess, like I said, like, I don't know what else is to go super in depth about with these matches. I feel
There
like
isn't.
they are what they are. Dom's gonna win. Jacob Fatu's gonna retain. I don't know what's gonna happen with Gunther and Pat McAfee. I hope to God Gunther wins, because otherwise, why was he your world champion for so long? Becky and Lyra, I don't really care. I I don't know. I think Lyra might win, but I think somebody might come interfere, and that might be why. Or Becky wins by, DQ, whatever.
Becky Hogan.
Yeah, Becky. And then John Cena and Randy Orton, I could not give a shit less. John Cena's gonna win. Like, sorry, not sorry. I said what I
I
said.
hope Bane comes out like he does in Dark Knight Rises during that match.
And break Cena's back. That'd be fantastic. Thank you.
No, he just blows the ring up
Oh, well, that too.
and the arena. That'd be fun too. Let the games begin.
What a lovely voice. I mean, listen, I think that's all the in-depth analysis that we need to do. I know you and I are in agreement, so if you want to go ahead,
I will break your will and I will break your body. Be great too if he comes out and just breaks Cena's back.
I would just, I'd be like praying, like, thank you.
Thank you, Bane. Thank you, Bane. Turn heel against Batman, I guess. Why not?
I'm all for it.
Right.
I just, listen, at the end of the day, like, I don't know what else we can really say about these matches, and I think really that's the only in-depth analysis that we need to really do, because that's how it's going to go down, probably.
Well, in this household this weekend, it's probably going to be high lash or baked lash in this household, or 420 lash. Every single thing I could think of that has something to do, or blunt lash, vape lash, edible lash, Kush lash,
THC lash.
THC lash. Yeah, I think that's it. So I also want to put it out there to my mom. She's listening. She's probably not, though, because I swear too much. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. And also to all the moms out there. And this show, of course, will be released this weekend, so I'm sure everybody will be paying $75 for fucking brunch per person. These prices. Talk about a fucking upcharge, you pricks. It's like, well, it's Mother's Day. It's like, yeah, okay, you have to charge $85 a person? Seriously? That doesn't include gratuity. It should.
Yeah, at that price, it definitely should.
It should. Felt like I'm, like it for 3 people. It's the cost of what I paid for, like, to take a dozen out for Stephanie's birthday. For Christ's sake, like, it's a fucking problem. How the hell can you take it like a family of 5 out for brunch? Like, that fucking cost. It's like, oh, I guess we'll have a barbecue back in the backyard. We could do it for like half the money. God.
I mean, if you go to like some of these like smaller like restaurants or diners or whatever, it's like, you go in there, it's like $15.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But we're talking like dude, we're still talking though some establishments that You know, like some of the ones locally that they'll advertise, and the price is just like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, are mimosas included? How about Bloody Marys?
They
Christ.
should be.
They should be for that money. God. Of course, I got to take my mother if she's actually in Florida for Mother's Day, so good for her. Which is also works out for me because now I don't have to beat the rush.
Yeah.
And everybody else in the restaurants, it's like, oh, I'll just take you to lunch and like when you get back, you know. So it's like, but God Almighty, I would not want to be involved in that process of just being like, because
I'm not booked.
yeah, exactly. That's gonna be a lot of people on brunch on Sunday. I'm not booked. Couldn't get anywhere. Everything's booked. We're not booked. Just Dennis Stibb, all those Dennis Stibb quotes on Sunday from everybody. I'm not booked. We're not booked. Then everybody's gonna, after they get back from brunch, they're gonna go out with a trampoline with those little dumbbells. You know, I watch what I eat. I'm 50 now, but I can get called anytime. Yeah.
You're not getting called, Dennis.
You're not getting a call, Dennis. WWE's not calling you. ECW ain't calling you. WCW's not calling you.
Because I'm not booked.
The USWA wasn't calling you.
Because I'm not booked.
Thinking about it. Because you're not booked. It's everybody gonna be, that's everybody at brunch. They can't get a table. Why? Because we're not booked.
Why didn't you book in advance? I was too busy watching Backlash.
Because I'm an asshole.
Yeah,
I was too focused on Raw. Couldn't really, it just caught up with me. Honey, why aren't we going to brunch? Why can't we afford it this year? Because I had to go to WrestleMania. Pissed all that money down the drain. Sorry, honey, you're going to have to make your own pancakes this year. But it's Mother's Day. But I went to WrestleMania.
It's like a down payment on a house, dude. Like
fucking 40 grand for ringside at SummerSlam at fucking MetLife. 40 grand.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
No wonder they have fucking revenue records every year.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think it'll be a interesting show, but otherwise, I don't know.
You know what WWE has become? They have become the Boston Red Sox in their current form. I miss 90s Red Sox. Remember 90s Red Sox?
Yeah.
Going to Fenway was actually fun.
It was still fun even to the early 2000s.
Yeah, it was, but I hated it when the new ownership took over and they started to close off the street to the gate.
Yeah, I hate that.
That pissed me off.
That was stupid.
Because it's like, oh, let's just corral people in. It's like, no. Why don't you do what you did before, where it's like I go under the facade of the building and they let me in that way, instead of I have to go to the street and then that's where they take my ticket. It's like, no. The experience is being able to kind of just roam around outside without having to be corralled in. Well, we have shops and all that stuff. We're just trying to utilize the space. Hey, how about not doing that? Then utilize the space doing it where people could go to restaurants outside the goddamn field without having to fucking pay to get in.
Yeah, I hated that too. Once they started doing that, I was just like, yeah.
Oh, that's when it just turned for me. That's why I always make that term a 90s Fenway.
I got why they did it, but the way they just went about it was stupid.
It just was so dumb. Everything time you go now, everything is so overpriced. And that's the same thing with WWE. I never thought I'd be saying it because, and that's why if you can't afford going to WWE, and you want to go see live wrestling, you got to support independent shows.
Yep.
Like Outcast Wrestling Revolution, things like that. You know, if you're up in Canada, plenty of promotions that we've talked about here. And you got Russell Core.
Not
you got
just Google it. Just
yeah, exactly. Just go see
look at independent wrestling near me.
Exactly. Just going to see indie shows. It's funny because I was just complaining earlier in chats about independent wrestling. I'm just like, I can't take them seriously where they're doing shit like this.
It depends on the show, though.
That's true. There are a lot of companies that are very, very good that take themselves seriously. And then there's companies that, you know, you're wrestling a blow-up doll, but whatever. Whatever. I think I have rambled enough tonight, especially the last like 20 minutes, because we've been trying to wrap up. And I was just like, you know what's pissing me off?
That goddamn Triple H.
I still believe in you, Trips. I'm just disappointed.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
It's been like the last 3 months with the company. It's like, I'm not mad at you, but we got to figure something out.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not mad at you, but what the fuck are you doing?
What are you, high? Because if you are, I want some.
I almost actually answered that, so goes to show you.
What are you, high? Yes. Why are you asking your own question? I mean, I was asking Triple H. Triple H doesn't smoke. He should.
Smoke.
They just walk into my office in a creative meeting and it's just a fucking billow of smoke comes out. You can't smoke in a corporate building. Fuck you!
Then get out.
Let me work from home then. Netflix has gained 2 million viewers. Fuck you! I'm gonna do what I want.
Probably would write better shit than he's been writing the last couple of months.
Oh God! All I would do is fight with like the Hollywood writers that they have working for them, or like the ex soap opera people. All right, you guys need to leave. Why? Because you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Be like, who wrote the last Cody segment? Okay, you're fired. Who wrote the last Gunther segment? Okay, you're fired. Start naming some of the fucking storylines they have going.
I'm in the, somebody brings me a script and I don't like it. I just whip my dick out and piss on it. Just like, this is why you think of your fucking shitty script. Of course, I'll do that if it was a man, if I'm not going to do it in front of a woman, because that would be sexual harassment. But
yeah, probably. maybe wipe your ass with it instead. I don't know if that would be. I don't know if that is. I don't know if that qualifies.
Just wipe my ass with it and then give it a little protein at the end. Just be like, oh, this is fucking bullshit. Oh, goddamn. It's so hard to take this whole thing seriously and just, yeah. And I know I'm probably repeating myself. And again, I'm rambling. So I'm going to try to wrap things up so that way it's like we don't sit here for another 20 minutes and then I'm just bitching about something else that's bothering me. So again, happy Mother's Day, people, to all the moms out there. Thank you for listening. Mac, do you have anything to close us out with? Or
nope.
are you good?
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
All right. Well, you were listening to PWB Talks here on Spotify, YouTube, under Diamond Podcasts and Productions. We're also on Audacity, Apple, or wherever else you get your podcast. Thank you for listening, and we will see you back here next week to review Cracklash. Good night, everybody.